So good evening and welcome to another session on our mental maths tricks. In our previous sessions, we have learned about how we can add numbers from our mind, as well as how we can subtract numbers from our mind, as well as finally we saw in our previous session especially, we saw how to multiply numbers from our mind. So hope you have all seen those videos or the lecture series in previous times. So today we are going to learn about how we can divide, as well as today we are going to learn how we can do some kind of additional techniques like mirror technique. So we are going to learn those things, as well as we are going to learn about how we can square two numbers quickly. So before we start the session, you guys, if you have any questions or doubts regarding our previous sessions or previously what we have learned so far, if you have any question, you can ask it to me, right? So it is the time for you to ask question if you have anything. Okay. So now we will learn about division today. Hope you have understood what we have learned on our previous sessions. So division, we cannot divide any number by any number, right? We cannot divide whatever the number by a particular number. Have any tricks for that, but we have some tricks for especially for particular numbers. As an example, if we are going to divide something by 2 or 4 or 8, and then we can apply this technique for those kind of numbers, right? So that will be very easy. So what we have to do is, if we are going to divide any number by 2, it's very simple. What we have to do is, we have to divide that number by 2. We have to cut it by half. As an example, if I am going to divide this by 2, then we have to think like, okay, it's not 624. It's 600 plus 20 plus 4, right? Likewise, we have to divide that. We have to separate those hundreds, tens, and ones. And then after, we have to divide that, right? So if we do like that, and then it will be 300. For 20, it will be 10. For the 4, it will be 2, right? So then after, we have to add all those numbers together. How we are going to add that? It's very simple, right? We have learned in our previous sessions how we can add those numbers from our mind, right? So we have to apply that same technique on this as well. So then the answer will be 312, right? So this is the answer for this division. It's very simple. It's obvious. This is how we exactly do that calculation if we are doing it from our mind. Likewise, if we are going to divide whatever the number by 4, what we have to do is, we have to half the number twice, right? We have to half the number twice. As an example, if we are going to divide 244 by 4, we have to half this number. So what is the half of this number? It will be 122, right? After we have half that one, we have to again half that one. We have to half the number twice. So then 122, if we divide that again by 2, and then it will be 61, right? So that is how we exactly do that one. First of all, we have to half that number. So then it will be 122. After that, we have to half that number. So it will be 61. If we do like this technique, and then we can easily calculate the division from our mind, right? So that is why we are using this technique. So now you have understood how I'm going to divide any number by 8. It's also similar to what we have learned so far. If we are going to divide 632 by 8, what we have to do is we have to half the number thrice, right? So we have to half this 632. So then it will be 360. 360. After that, we have to half that number again, right? If we do that, and then you know that the answer will be 300. If we half that 300, so then it will be 150. If we half that 16, and then that will be 8, right? So then if we add those two numbers together, 150 plus 8, it will be 158, right? After that, we have to again half that. We have to half that number 3 times, right? If we do that, and then we know that 150, if we half that number, it will be 75. And if we half that 8, it will be 4. So 75 plus 4, it will be 79, right? So this is how we do these things, but not writing anything, right? So these are for the explanation purpose, right? So I'm writing these things down in the presentation for you to understand these things, right? But if I'm doing these things from my mind, we don't have to write anything. We just have to think, and then we have to say the answer, right? So that is how we do these things. So let me provide you some more examples for you, so then we can understand these things, right? As an example, if we are going to divide 246 by 2, what will be the answer? We have to half this number, right? So 200, if we half that 200, it will be 100. And then if we half that 40, it will be 20. So 123. If we half that 6, it will be 3. So 1, 2, 3 is the answer, right? So likewise, if I provide you another example, like 458 divided by 4, what will be the answer? What will be the answer? We have to half this number twice. So if we half this number, it will be 229, 229. But we have to again half that number, right? So if we half this number, what will be the answer? 114.5, right? So this is how we do that, right? Okay, so if you have any question, you can ask it to me, right? If you have any question, so that is the reason behind having this class. Even if I provide you the recorded videos, if you are joining this class, you can ask me questions. You can interact with me, so then I can answer your questions as well as you can answer my questions, so that the learning will be more, right? Okay, so if you have any question, you can ask it to me. Okay, shall we divide like 844 by 8? What will be the answer? It will be 422, and then it will be 211, and then it will be 105.5. Is it correct? Okay. So if you have any question, you can ask it to me. If we don't have any question, we can move on to our next technique, right? The next technique is dividing any number by 5, right? If we are going to divide any number by 5, we are lucky because we have a technique to do that. It's very simple. As an example, sorry?
Actually, I'm okay with dividing by 2 and dividing by 4, but dividing by 8 is a little confusing. So can you please explain that one again? Dividing a number by 8.
Yeah.
Can you explain one question again?
Yeah, okay, no problem. So I will explain you how we can exactly divide some number by 4, right? It's very simple. If we are going to divide 2484 divided by 8, it's very simple. First of all, we have to half this number, top number, right? So if we half this number, we know that 1242 is the half of this number. After that, we have to half this number. Again, we have to half this number. right? So then the answer will become as 6 to 1. So 6 to 1 will be the answer for this halving number. After that, again, we have to halve this number. If we do that, and then it will be 3, 1, 0, right? It will be 3, half this 20, and then it will be 1, 10. And halving this 1, it will be 0. After that, we have to add 0.5 over here. Why I'm adding 0.5 over here? It's very simple. We know that 0.5 is equal to half, isn't it? If we have 0.5 as a number over here, that will be pretty much equal to 1 divided by 2. That means half, right? So if we add these two numbers together, half plus half, what is the answer? Half plus half, it will be 1, right? So similarly, 0.5 plus 0.5, that will be equal to 1 as well. Since if we are adding half plus half equal to 1, it's obvious that 0.5 plus 0.5 is also equal to 1. Likewise, if we have 1 and that should be divided by 2, and then we can come to know that it will be 0.5, right? So that is why I am adding 0.5 over here, right? Okay, so hope you understand that one. Even if you don't understand anything, you can ask me a question, no problem, right? Okay, now we are going to learn how we can divide any number by 5. It's very simple. If we are going to divide any number by 5, let's say 242 should be divided by 5. It's very simple. What we have to do is we have to multiply that number by 2, the top number, right? We have to multiply that top number by 2. After that, after multiplying that one, what we have to do is we have to divide that number by 10. Do you think it's hard to divide that by 10? No. It's just adding a 1 digit towards left. So then that will be it. As an example, so if we are going to divide 20 divided by 10, what will be the answer? It will be 2. How can you say that it will be 2? Because 20 is here, and then the decimal point will be around over here, and this decimal point will be moved towards left, and then the answer will become as 2.0. So then 2.0 will be equal to 2. We know that, right? So that is why we are telling like 20 divided by 10 will be equal to 2. We just add this decimal point from here to there, right? So it's very simple, just adding that one. Let me provide you another example. What will be the answer for 2.4 divided by 10? What will be the answer? Can anyone say that? What will be the answer for this one?
0.2.
Sorry, your microphone is not clear.
0.24.
Yeah, 0.24. How did you know that? It's very simple. This decimal point will be moved towards left, and then the answer will become as 0.24. Right? We cannot say like 0.24. It's not the best way that we can pronounce it. If we are going to pronounce it, we have to say like 0.24. But if it is maybe like 24.56, how can you pronounce it? 24.56? No, that is not the way we can pronounce it. If we are going to pronounce it, we have to pronounce like 24.56. It's not even 24.56. It's not like that. It's like 24.56. After the coming numbers, we have to say it one by one, right? So that is the mathematical consideration we have to focus on. And now we know that this is how we divide any number by 10. Okay, even that is very simple for maybe grade 5 students. So here, what we have to do is, if we are going to divide any number by 5, it's very simple. We have to double this number, not halving that number. We have to double that number. How can you double that? It's very simple. We have learned in our first session, right? In the day 1 first session, we have learned how we can multiply these numbers. How can you do that? If we are going to multiply this number, it's very simple. We have to divide them, right? How can you divide? If we are going to multiply 242 by 2, we have to divide that number, 240 and 2. Likewise, we have to divide that number from our mind. Everything from the mind, right? I'm not writing anything, right? You have to think from your mind. So that is why we have we have put that heading, mental math techniques, right? Everything should be calculated from the mind. Okay, so it will be 240 and 2. So if we multiply this one by 2, this one by 2, this one by 2, and then after we have to add all these numbers. Very simple, 484. So it will be 484, right? It's very simple. After you have calculated that one, it's not the answer. We have to divide that number. I have only written this portion. It's obvious, right? 242 times 2, it will be 484. It's obvious. But I do not have to forget to write this bottom portion as well. Then only we can put equal sign in between this one. Otherwise, it will be not equal. Right? Okay. So how can you divide this 484 by 10? It's very simple. Here, even if we don't see that decimal point over here, there will be a decimal point on there, right? So now what we have to do is we have to pick that decimal point and place it over here. I place it over here like this. If we do that, what will be the answer? 48.4, right? Now I have explained you the technique, how we can calculate, how we can divide any number by 5, right? Let me provide you an example so that we can get to know these things very quickly, right? As an example, maybe an example. So what will be 415 divided by 5? What will be the answer? We have to double this number and divide it by 10. That's it. If you double this number, we know 400 will be 800, 10 will be 20, 5 will be 10. So it will be 830, right? After we have finding that one, after we have calculated that one, we have to divide that number by 10. If we divide that number, here there will be a decimal point over here, and then that will be moved over here, and then the answer will be 83. Simple, right? Now we are going to calculate without writing anything for practicing, right? So what will be the answer for 215 divided by 5? What will be the answer? How much it will be? 430. So 43, right? Is it clear? Okay. So what will be the answer for 1254 divided by 5? What will be the answer? 242,508. 2508. And then after we have to add the decimal point over here. So then it will be 250.8. That is the answer. Simple. So how much time it would take for you to do these questions? Very simple. At 10 seconds or 5 seconds, you can do. But if you practice these things in your day-to-day life activities, maybe daily, if you practice 10 examples in each technique, and then you can calculate even within 2 or 3 seconds. It's true. Okay, if you have any question, you can ask it to me. It's very simple, huh? Simple technique. Okay, so what will be the answer for this one? 425 divided by 5. What will be the answer? How much it will be? 80?
85.
85, simple. We don't have to have any calculators, pen and papers, or anything. We can use our mind, apply that technique, and then we can say the answer. Yeah, 85. And next example is like how much it will be for 840 divided by 5. What will be the answer? 100?
168.
60? How much?
8.
Okay. And what about 2, 4, 5 divided by 5? What will be the answer? 40?
49.
49. Okay, thank you. So you are good. You are good in calculating these things. I am really appreciating your understandings over here. It's good, right? Okay, now we are going to learn how we can divide any number by 25. We can have another technique for that as well. So if you are going to divide any number by 25, it's very simple. We have to divide that number by, we have to multiply that number by 4, right? If I'm going to multiply that number by 4, how can I achieve that, particularly that one? How can it be achieved? We have to double that number. After doubling that number, we have to again redouble that number. If we do that, and then we will come to know the answer. After coming that answer, however, we have to divide that by 100. How can I derive this is the right answer for you? How can I say that? If someone tells you, okay, this is okay, this one is like this, how can you come to know is it mathematically right or wrong? You can prove that in mathematics. That's the best. That's the best thing in mathematics. Some maybe, as an example, someone comes to you, 5 is equal to 2, and you have to ask, okay, let me prove. How can you prove this one? So he cannot be able to prove that. So then it's wrong, right? So likewise, in mathematics, we can prove those things, right? We can prove those things. Let me prove this one. It's very simple, right? Okay. So this one, 242 divided by 25 is here, somewhere else, right? It's here. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to multiply this by 4 over here. If I do that on the bottom part, what I must have to do is, I have to multiply on the bottom part as well. So then after, if I do that, maybe I can obtain another pen and cut these two things, isn't it? 4 and 4. On the top as well, we have 4. On the bottom as well, we have 4. So then they will be cancelled out. But I'm not going to cancel them together. I'm going to keep them as they are. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have this portion as it is, right? So 2, 4, 2 as it is. I'm going to keep them like this. But here it is saying, right? It is saying to me, okay, Nishad, you can multiply this thing. Okay, I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do that one. 25 times 4, it will be 100, right? Now, the left side and the right side are equal. Now I have proved that one, right? So now I have proved some technique, this technique, it's true. Now I'm going to apply this technique from my mind to calculate these things, right? So let me do that. So if we are going to multiply 242 by 4, we have two methods to do that. First method is doubling twice, right? So we have to double this number. If you double this number, how much it will be? 4, 8, 4. For the first time, I have doubled. After you have doubling that one, you have to redouble that one, right? So we have to multiply this again by 2. If you do that, and then it will be 400 times 2, it will be 800. 80 times 2, it will be 160. So 960 plus 8, right? 968. That will be the answer. Okay. I have redoubled this number. 242 has been redoubled. After redoubling that one, what I have to do is I have to divide that by 100. Right? So here also I have to divide that by 100. So then only I can put an equal sign over here. Otherwise, they are not equal, right? Even a child with a lollipop can say that it's not equal if I don't put 100 over here, right? It's true. Okay. So then after, if okay, these are equal. After that, I have to put an equal sign over here as well. So this one, this entire portion, right, is equal to this one. And then after, this one is equal to this one. So now what will be the answer? Here, in the previous example, we saw that if we are going to divide any number by 10, we have to only add that decimal point over here, from here to there. And if you are going to divide that one by 100, it's again simple. We have to move 2 decimal points towards left. That's it. Right? So if I do that, and then here there is a decimal point over here, we have to move this one to here as well as here. Right? So then finally the decimal point will come over here, and then the answer will become as 9.68. So if someone asks you to, what is the answer for 242 divided by 25? You can say 9.68. Very simple. Let me provide you some more examples. So then we can get to know these things very quickly. Right? Okay. So what will be 450 divided by 25? What will be the answer? You have to double this number. It will be 900. And then after you have to double that number. Right? So how much it will be? 1800. And then you have to add 2 decimal points towards left. And then the answer will become as 80. Right? So that is how we do that. But when you are doing these things, you don't have to write anything on the board or pen or paper. You have to do these things from your mind. That is very important. Okay, I told you earlier, we have 2 methods for multiplying this number by 4. I'm going to explain you the second option, second method. How can we multiply any number by 4? Since we have learned this one in the previous classes, I'm going to explain it to you again, right? Okay, so if you are going to multiply this 450 by 4, how can you do that? You can directly multiply. Directly multiply means 400 should be multiplied by 4. It will be how much? 1,600. 50 multiplied by 4, how much? It will be 200. And then after you have to add these two numbers. So then it will be 1,800. And then that number will be divided by 100. And then that will be 18. So this is the second method. You can double that number twice if you are going to multiply that number by 4. Or else you can directly multiply that number 4 by separating them, like hundreds, tens, and ones. You can separate those numbers and multiply them. If you don't understand anything what we have learned so far, you can ask me question. No problem. I like asking my students questions. Right? If you have any question, if you don't understand anything, you can ask it to me. Otherwise, I will ask you question. You have to answer it to me. Okay, let me clear these things. So provide you another example, like how much it will be for 205 divided by 25. What is the answer? What is the answer? 8 point?
8.2.
Yeah, 8.2. It's simple. 8.2. And how much it will be for 403 divided by 25? How much it will be? 1600. How much if you multiply this by 4? 1612. And then if you add 2 decimal points toward left, it will be 16.12. Simple. Isn't it? If I'm wrong, you can correct it to me. Is it correct or not?
Correct, sir.
Okay, thank you. And similarly, we can have another technique by multiplying 125. Can you explain that? How can it be done? Can anyone explain it to me how this technique can be achieved? That means any number should be multiplied by 1, so should be divided by 125, 125. What will be the technique? Can you imagine that one and explain it to me? By analyzing those two things, can you say that? Anyone? Is it hard? Simple. Maybe let's say you are going to have 202 divided by 125. 125. The answer will be 202 should be multiplied by not 4, should be multiplied by 8. And then divided by how much? 100? 10? How much?
1000.
1000. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That is the answer. We are going to divide any number by 125, but it's a rare case. You don't see dividing this number, but however, it's there. If you are going to divide this number by 125, it's very simple. You can you have to double this number 3 times, thrice, right? 3 times you have to double this number. So for 404, and then it will be 808, and then it will be 1616, right? So 1616 is the answer. And then after we have to add 3 decimal points towards left, and then it will be 1.616. That's the answer. Okay, no problem if you don't understand this one, because it's rare we see any number divided by 125 in your OL mathematics examinations, right? So I'm going to just omit it. Okay. Okay. Before we continue to the squaring, let me provide you some more more techniques for division, right? I think the meeting is going to end in some time. You have to rejoin it. The meeting will be going to end in a few minutes. You have to rejoin, okay? Okay. So here, let's say some number, whatever the number A, is to be divided by 2 without any reminders, right? And then what will be the theory, or what are the properties that A should have? As an example, if 12 is to be divided by 2, what this number, this is the A I'm writing here, 12, this number, what are the properties this number should have? Can you imagine that? Whatever this number should be ended up with, 0 or 2 or 4 or 8 or 0, right? So if the number is ending with these mentioned numbers, right? And we can say that that will be divisible by 2 without any reminders. It's very simple, right? If you divide that one, it will be 6. Likewise, what will be the property for dividing that A by 3? What will be the property? Do any student know that? What will be the property? It's very simple. If you have like this number, like 212 divided by 3, we are not going to divide this number, right? We are not going to divide this number. We are just going to check this number, whether it is divisible by 3 or not. We are just now going to test it. How can you test it? It's very simple. What we have to do is we have to add all those digits together, right? We have to add all those digits together. So 2 plus 1, it will be 3. 3 plus 2, it will be 5. After adding that number, right, we have to check this number, whether it is divisible by 3 or not. Is it divisible by 3? 5 is divisible by 3 or not? No, there will be a reminder, right? So if that comes like this, it's not divisible by 3, and then we can come to know that this number is also not divisible by 3. Right? So can someone say to me like whether this number 2, 4, 5, 8, 2 is divisible by 3 or not without dividing this number? Can you say whether it is divisible by 3 or not without dividing this number? It will be 6 plus 5, 11. 11 plus 8, it will be 19. 19 plus 2, it will be 21.